Good morning, Guardians. Briar Rabbit here. We got some really great news yesterday out of this week at Bungie, and I wanted to go over that. Now, we talked a little bit about it on the Destiny Community Podcast. Today, I want to share my thoughts in a longer format. Basically, what we're talking about here is we are getting a balance update, a Crucible weapon balance update, and along with some other changes, and we're getting it sooner than we may have thought. So, last week in This Week at Bungie came out and said that, hey, we are going to be doing a weapon balance patch, but they didn't say when. And in the same post, they talked about the spring update that we can expect, well, sometime in spring. We don't really know when that's coming. So a lot of people, including me, were thinking, are we going to have to wait until spring to get a weapon balance change? Which, frankly, is too long to wait. We've had the same weapon balance for months now. I think the counter's at like 140 something days. It's been since Rise of Iron launched that we've had a significant change to the meta in Destiny. So getting news about a new weapon meta change is very good indeed, and the fact that it is coming sooner than we thought is great. So yesterday, Bungie said it is coming in mid-February. Now, February is a short month. It is right at the end of January as I make this video. So this thing should be coming in a couple of weeks or so, which is huge news. And there are some somewhat significant changes coming. Now, Bungie didn't get into the weeds of what's going on. In fact, they kind of say, here is your fairly mysterious overview, and they line up 4 goals for us to chew over. The first goal is to promote alternatives and counters to shotguns. So you'll notice here that they don't say nerf shotguns, nerf the Matador. What they want to do is keep the Matador going, seemingly, but give us alternatives to having the shotgun meta that we currently have now. Right now, if you want to succeed in the Crucible, the easiest way to do it is to equip a shotgun and go to town on your enemy. It looks like from this first goal that the shotguns will still be powerful, they'll still be good, but hopefully there will be new alternatives and new counters, whether that be improved sidearms, better sniper rifles, better fusion rifles, better primaries. We don't know at this point. We're going to have to wait and see. But this is actually my favorite part about this post, because shotguns are fun to use, no doubt about it, but only having to use shotguns if you want to succeed in the Crucible can get very boring and very repetitive. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Bungie approaches this problem. Okay, so the second goal is to align potency of primary weapons with surgical changes. So I think there's a few things of note in here. First, align the potency of primary weapons, and then the second part is with surgical changes. A lot of people really want across-the-board primary buff, but the structure of this sentence says to me that there are a couple of outliers in the primary weapons, like the Clever Dragon, that are surgically going to get nerfed. That doesn't mean that all pulse rifles are going to get nerfed because the Clever Dragon is too strong. It means the Clever Dragon specifically is going to get a nerf. That's how I'm reading that sentence. Now, I don't particularly agree with that approach. I would like to see the Clever Dragon stay how it is and other primaries kind of buffed up to its power level. It's time to kill. I'd like to see other weapons become more competitive with the Clever Dragon, not the Clever Dragon nerfed down to allow other weapons to be more competitive. So we'll have to see exactly what they do. Again, this is a somewhat vague set of goals. There are no details in here. We're going to have to wait until mid-February to really figure out exactly what the changes are going to be. But from the language used, that's the impression I get. Number 3 is file down a couple of issues from each class. What these issues are is, who knows at this point. Is it going to be Stormcaller melee range? Is it going to be Juggernaut shield being invulnerable to all damage? Like, what is it going to be? We've seen changes to subclasses in the past. Some have been very popular, like getting rid of, Sunsinger grenades. Others have not been powerful, like nerfing the throwing knife on hunters. we're really going to have to wait and see on this one. It's too vague to really read too much of a detail set into. Number 4 is fix some issues with a sampler platter of exotics. So you'll notice all across these, all 5 of the goals, we haven't done the 5th one yet, but all of them kind of just, they seem to be small adjustments. The language used is promote alternatives, surgical changes, file down, sampler platter. These are all very minute changes. So I wouldn't expect any kind of huge changes to the meta. What I would expect is for more weapons to be included. Now, with number 4, fix some issues with the sampler platter of exotics, my guess is that there are just some exotics that they want to nerf. There's some exotics that don't work at all. They simply do not function at all. And there's other exotics that don't function the way they're supposed to, and there's other exotics that they function the way they're supposed to, but that makes them basically useless anyway. So we'll have to see how this goes, whether it'll be focused on armor or weapons, but it should be interesting to see. Any change to this game at this point, I think, is a good thing, because we've had the same meta for so long that it'll be good to be able to investigate some of these changes, change the style of your gameplay based on that. You know, just to change the Crucible game up a little bit, I think would go a long way to freshening up the game altogether. Next up is number 5, supporting adjustments to special ammunition. Now, this one is too vague to even know. Are they talking about ammo counts? Are they talking about magazine size? Are they talking about how special ammunition spawns in? Are they talking about PvE? Are they talking about PvP? We really don't know on this one. It's just too vague. I don't know if they want to reduce, again, the amount of special ammunition that's available in the Crucible. I know some players would love that. Some players would hate it. If they do an across-the-board change on the weapons themselves, that often very adversely affects PvE when the goal is to affect PvP. So that could be concerning. Anytime they mess with special ammo, it has broader implications than it seems that Bungie intended with the change. So again, I do want to point out that all the language used in this post really does seem to be, we're making small changes, small adjustments, very, surgical changes. These are very small adjustments. What I'd like to see is a major change up in the meta. I'd love to see auto rifles come to power again. I'd love to see fusion rifles come to power. I'd love to see, my goal would be to see enough changes to the meta that it changes up what weapons are the most desirable for use in the Crucible and in PvE, to allow for players to go out and grind for those weapons, to not only change how the Crucible plays, but also to give us a reason to go into PvE or to go in Crucible to grind for weapons that maybe a month ago we threw away because they were no good, but all of a sudden are at the top of the meta. That's what I'd like to see, but I don't think that's what we're going to get with this change. I think we're going to get a slight buff to fusion rifles and sidearms, maybe a reduction in flinch to sniper rifles. I think that we'll probably see some of the outliers in the primary weapon category get nerfed a little bit just to bring them in line with others. So that's it. That's what I think. What do you guys think? How do you guys read this set of goals? Really interested to hear. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.